So here we are. I can't believe it's the last day of April and the last day of Plein April, and I'm really pleased to say that I did manage to get out most days. To be honest, I did miss a couple, and some days it was something quite picturesque, other days maybe something a little more nondescript, but I got out. I've been very lucky with the weather, which has helped no end. So here's just a little recap of what happened this week and what happened in the whole of Plein April. My first stop this week was the coastal town of Aldeburgh, and today I chose the Moot Hall, a Grade 1 listed building dating from the first half of the 16th century. After spending a couple of minutes sketching out the big shapes with watercolour pencil, I went in with Sailor Fude fountain pen. The Moot Hall is one of the best preserved Tudor buildings in Britain, and when it's not in use as the town's council chamber, it houses the Aldeburgh Museum, where you can discover how the town has developed through the years, from the time the Romans came to Barber's Point until the present day. From where I'm sitting, I can just about make out the white dome of Sizewell B nuclear power station in the distance, which you can see is just along from the house in the clouds, which is a former water tower. I've sketched both of these before, and I'd really like to come back and sketch the house in the clouds again. Last time I was here, I was just trying out a new sketchbook for the first time, and I just couldn't get on with it. It had really smooth, almost shiny paper. Personally, I prefer something with a bit of a tooth. This is obviously just a personal preference, and I think it's really good to try out new materials. This one just didn't work for me. Anyway, back to today's sketch. That's the ink work done, so I'm now going on to the watercolour. There are so many interesting buildings and features to sketch here. It really is an artist's dream in Aldeburgh. The paper's drying well in the sun today, so I'm able to add some nice dark shadows. I forgot to draw in the lattice shapes of the lead windows earlier, so I've picked up the pen again and I'm using the underside of the nib to get a really fine line. Next, I'm going back up the A12 and to pin mill. A short walk from the car brought us to a handy bench in front of an even handier pub, and this is where I sat to sketch with a friend. Again, I sketched out the big shapes with watercolour pencil and then moved on to the Sailor Fude de Man pen again with platinum carbon ink. I started here with the wonky pub sign. Now the inkwork's done, I went on to the watercolour. I do find colours like this building quite tricky. Is it yellow? Is it cream? Is it creamy yellow? I don't know, but as I'm not terribly efficient at cleaning my palette, I'm sure I'll end up with some sort of random mixture that'll fit the bill. I've never found a use for white watercolour paint, but maybe it's something I should consider that would help with this sort of shade. I did rush a bit at the end, partly because the sun was burning the back of my neck and partly because a cold beer and a snack at the pub were calling. Later in the week I went back to Aldeburgh and this time brought my dad here, and while he went for a walk and stocked up on something for dinner, I wanted to squeeze in a short sketch. Knowing I only had limited time, I sat on a bench and basically just painted what was around me, what was straight in front of me. So more of an urban scene of some sea-facing houses that were being renovated. I'll get back later in the summer to draw some of the more picturesque places. I didn't have quite enough time to finish it, so I did the last bit at home. And while it's certainly not one of the usual picture-perfect postcard views of Aldeburgh that many people may be more familiar with, it was fun to do some urban sketching of a typically urban scene. And as I've mentioned before, my personal take from Plein April is to try and form a habit, not to try and create a masterpiece. If you're interested in seeing more of Plein April, there are 4 previous videos on my channel that you might fancy watching. So that brings me to the end of my first attempt at Plein April, and I've really enjoyed it. It's made me go out and sketch almost every day of the month, and along the way I've met other artists, both online and in the real world, and it's also encouraged a couple of friends to have a go at sketching on location. Here's a little recap of some of the highlights of this month's sketching. And if you've enjoyed watching my sketching journey throughout April, or it's encouraged you to pick up your sketchbook, please do consider liking and subscribing. It really does help the channel. So if you've been participating in Plein April, I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know how you've got on in the comments. Thanks for watching and happy sketching.